There's a really helpful little model to help you understand your thoughts and understand what level you're coming from in your own thinking. And it's a model that I came across maybe 15 years ago by a guy called Dr. Michael Beckwith. And the model is useful to carry around just as a frame of reference for your own thinking, to see where you're coming from, what perspective you're coming from in your own life. Okay, and it's a 4-stage model, so it's going to be quick. The first stage of the model is victim thinking. It's called the to me stage, okay, where you think that things are happening to you. Okay, you feel like the victim of life circumstance, like the victim of your parental upbringing, the victim of society, the victim of politics, of government, the victim of economic situation, the victim of your partner. You know, you're victim of your own thinking even. You know, it's the attitude of stuff happens to me and I'm powerless and out of control. I don't have any control to change things. Okay, so this is the first level of consciousness. And lots of us fall into this victim thinking. Like, this isn't a judgment. Lots of us will go through our lives and move through these 4 different levels daily, like hourly, like minute by minute, right? So it's not like we're saying, okay, we're judging people that are in victim mode. No, we all feel victim of things to some extent. Like somebody pulls a car and crosses in front of me while I'm driving on my motorcycle or whatever. You feel like the victim of that, okay? Because, you know, essentially there are times when we are victims, but the point is to move yourself out of that victim mentality and into the next level. So stage 2 of this ladder of consciousness would be the by me stage, what Dr. Michael Beckwith calls the by me stage, which means that by me, by my actions, things happen in the world. This moves us from victim consciousness into taking responsibility and control for our own life. This is the Jordan Peterson stage, if you like. You know, he's always banging on about take responsibility and clean your room and all this terrible impression. But you get the idea. He's always banging on about taking responsibility, taking control back in your life. You know, you have agency, you have will, you have power, you can manipulate the world and change things, and you can go out and make things happen. These are the movers and shakers of the world. So this is level 2, and lots of personal development actually wants to move us from victim mode into this level 2, which is taking control, taking responsibility of our own life and going out there and getting what we want, right? That's the whole point of a lot of personal development, but that's only level 2 of 4 levels. And so I want to key you into the other 2 levels so you can understand how your level of consciousness can move from that level 2 to level 3. So level 3 is what I refer to as the flow stage or the clarity stage. And that's where you begin to feel like things are happening through you. Okay, so it's not by you, it's through you. And the difference between those 2 stages is you'll notice that when you're in real peak performance, like when you're performing at your best, it's almost like there's an energy coming through you. It's like effortless. It's that place in your life where you if you play sport, you'll realize if you score a great goal or score a great touchdown, make a great tackle, whatever it is, you feel like there's something acting through you. You've done enough skills, capabilities to get to a certain level of competence where stuff's coming through you and you can surrender to this energy, this life force that we all have, that's an expression of who we are, and it feels effortless. If you ask an athlete, that's just scored a 3-pointer from a ridiculously difficult position in basketball, and you say to them, what did you think? What were you thinking at the time? And they say, well, I wasn't thinking anything. And that's because it's happening through them. They're an expression of this energy. And it's not just in sport, but it can be in any creative endeavor. It can be in music, it can be in dance, it can be in writing, it can be in these videos. Sometimes you just hit flow and you just go and this great stuff just comes out. That's the flow state, okay? That's stage 3 where stuff's happening through you. And the difference between stage 2 and stage 3 is that it doesn't feel so heavy. Stage 2 can feel really heavy. Like if you're always feeling like you have to take responsibility and control and clean your room and work through your list, and it can feel really heavy. Life can feel like a series of tasks which feel quite burdensome, right? So although it's good to move from victim level to this level 2, it's also useful to understand that there is this other level, this other kind of gear that you can hit, which is this flow state where you kind of surrender to what's coming through you. So those are the first 3 stages. Now the final stage I would call more like a spiritual stage. And it's when you begin to realize that everything's kind of the same thing. So Dr. Michael Beckwith calls this the as me stage. So as I am, so the universe is. And if you've ever done any spiritual work, you'll understand that one of the key principles, one of the core principles of spirituality is understanding that you're not separate from everything else, that you're connected in this kind of ecosystem of unification. Like we talk about oneness and we talk about all things being one. And so if you do meditation, for instance, you'll understand from meditation practice that, you know, your consciousness is really all that there is. There's nothing else. There's no separation between you and the world. It all happens at the same time. And so when you're looking out there, you're really looking in here, right? That's the spiritual level. That's like level 4. The universe works as me. So those are your 4 stages. I find them really useful to understand where I'm coming from at different times in my life. Now, this isn't just a linear journey. It's not just a thing that you kind of move through these spiritual stages, although I think there are people that move, you know, from victimhood into responsibility, then into flow states, and then into this kind of understanding themselves as like part of a connected whole. That is a linear journey, but it's also a journey that we take daily. You know, you might wake up with certain victim thoughts in your own mind, and it might take you a moment just to wake up and, you know, reconnect with yourself and begin to move on to those other levels. It's not like we leave victimhood behind. All of us at some time will feel that. And if you're feeling that right now, let me tell you, you can move through those different levels. You really have the power to do that. It's just about making a choice to look at things from a different perspective. I'll be really interested in what you think of the model, whether you find it as useful as I do. Leave some comments or questions. And if you have any questions on the model or anything else in any of these videos, then please do get in touch. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.